Hello and welcome to my Wealth Odyssey. This is the portfolio update for September 2025. I want to go from being a small investor and grow my portfolio so I can achieve my dreams of financial freedom through building a long-term investment portfolio. I started with nothing at the beginning of 2025 and made my first deposit into my Stocks and Shares ISA in April. This channel will document my journey to the million and all the highs, lows and lessons it brings. My goodness, what a month September was. Absolutely insane. But before I reveal where we are, let's have a look at where we started at the end of August. So in this table, you can see highlighted in blue, we finished with a closing balance of £9,069, giving us a total profit from the previous month minus my additions of £183.68. My hope is to add £500 per calendar month from my salary minimum, and I'm hoping for a 15% return in the stock market per annum. So you can see the estimated invested and the estimated value. Now I've been saving a little bit more than what I thought I would be, and things will change from month to month and year to year, but it's nice to get off to a quick start and to see my value a little bit ahead of my estimated value for the end of month 5. Now, at the beginning of September, I contributed £1,250 to my portfolio. So that brings my total invested now to £9,250. Now, let's have a look what I've been purchasing in September. So what you see now on the screen is my current portfolio. I just have the 5 stocks currently. 3 within the quantum sector and 2 within the healthcare industry as well. My hope was that I was going to add £500 to my 3 quantum plays. However, this month I've only managed to add £250 to each of those 3. The reason is because the markets went absolutely bonkers. I can't believe it. I genuinely am shocked. My plan is to DCA into the stocks for the long term. However, the numbers were so eye-watering, I felt that I couldn't actually invest at the top of the market. So I was kind of waiting for a healthy pullback. However, it never came. So I have more of my money in cash rather than invested. However, I have seen significant returns in terms of my overall portfolio value. So at the end of September, you can see there, I've got invested into my account £5,750, and I also have £3,500 approximately in cash. That is receiving around 4% interest in my Trading 212 account. So we did actually get that interest rate cut by the Fed. I mentioned it in my previous video. I was expecting a 25 basis point cut. That's what happened. And I showed a table that showed the volatility in that first month after a rate cut when we're so close to all-time highs. Usually in the first month, it can potentially go up or down. And within 1 year, usually in all of the previous instances, everything has been green. So I was expecting some volatility. And we got volatility to the upside. So you can now see, and I'm pleased to reveal my new portfolio balance at the end of September. And this is a screenshot from Trading 212, and I have a closing balance of £14,166.60. And to be honest with you, it absolutely blows my mind in terms of a figure. I was not expecting this at all, and I'm just thinking to myself that what goes up must come down. I'm trying to keep my emotions in check. I never thought I would see this number so early in my journey this year. I know what the markets are like, and usually after a large increase in value, then we will see a healthy correction and pullback. But that's where we are at this current moment in time. So now I can add that figure to our table, and you can see that in green we have a closing balance of £14,000 or just over. Now, what is absolutely incredible is that my profit for the month is £3,847, and that is without the £1,250 that I contributed at the beginning of September. So that means, guys, that I've made more money in this investment portfolio than I have working a 9-to-5 job for the entire month. That absolutely blows my mind. I just cannot believe it. My hope is that I was going to get to £100,000 in the future and I was going to potentially make £1,000 profit per month, which would be fantastic, and that would be consistent with around about a 10% growth in my portfolio a year. But to make almost £4,000, absolutely mind-boggling. I still can't comprehend it, and I know that future months things will come down and I'll see some red months, but yeah, really interesting to see, and it just shows you the power of investing rather than trying to just keep it in my bank account or a high interest cash ISA. But yes, your money is always at risk. Nothing I say in these videos is financial advice. It's just what I'm doing and for entertainment purposes. I'm not a financial advisor, and your capital is at risk with any investment. I wanted to show you where I am in terms of my journey. So I predicted that it would take me 22 years to achieve my dream of being a millionaire. So at the end of month 6, with a closing balance of just over £14,000, I should be at month 17. So I'm already almost a year ahead of where I should be. Now, there will be pullbacks, and I completely understand that, but to actually see that I'm actually ahead of where I want to be as an investor is quite heartening. But to be honest with you, I would like things to slow down a little bit. I would actually like to see some red months. I want to get better prices for my continuing accumulation into my 3 quantum plays. But what can you do? There's a lot of interest in the sector at the moment. I was really hoping that it would kick off next year. I could build my position in the background, but it seems as though the sector is growing with a lot of good news and a lot of investor confidence. Now, rather than just making it about the numbers, let's have a look at my favorite graph. So in this graph, you can see the blue line, which is the estimated investment, and the orange line is the estimated value, and you can see that that slightly curves upwards, and that is the power of compounding. Now you can see the red line is what I've actually invested into the portfolio. So I've actually, the last 6 months, invested quicker than my time horizon, which is brilliant, and I aim to do that. I aim to lock in and save as much money as possible from my job so that I can invest the money into my portfolio. The green line, which is quite incredible, and that is the capital accumulation in my portfolio in the last few months. So we always want that green line to be above the red line, but you can see how almost vertical the green line has gone in the last month, which is quite astounding really to see. But again, as I said, guys, I'm expecting that to pull back a little bit and head back towards that red line in the coming months. Now, if you're new here, let me show you my favourite table, and this is the stocks and shares ISA balance distribution holders for 2022-2023. So at the end of the previous month, with a closing balance of £9,069, we were in the second to bottom row, and the great news to report is that with a closing balance of just over £14,000, we have moved into that third to bottom row, and yeah, we're at the higher echelons of that band. The big question I have is whether we will rise into that next band of £15,000 to £20,000 in the next month, or will we have a retracement? So we'll just have to wait and see. So with these monthly updates, I'll keep it just about the numbers to keep things a little bit shorter. However, next week I'm going to outline my plans for the portfolio and my purchases in the coming months, so do look out for that one. If you're also on the investing journey or thinking about it, I really do wish you well. So the big question is whether we can continue the momentum in October. Yeah, of course we can. Digga dagger, guys.